Okay, hello everybody. Today we're going to have the introduction to Rhinoceros. This is the software that we are going to use during this semester, and we're going to design all of our models for engineering workshop in this software. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to understand how the toolbars work and where they are located, and then we're going to see a couple of tools in action. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to open Rhinoceros. This program is a 3D modeling program, and in this section we are going to use the option large objects centimeters. That way we can build our small model and you guys can see it better. So in our case, large object centimeters is going to mean that every square on the grid is going to be 1 centimeter. Okay, so keep that in mind. That way it will be easier for you to know the distance and the length and the width of every project. Okay, so the first thing that we should know is that Rhinoceros has 4 views: the top view, the perspective view, the front view, and the right view. You can maximize each view by double clicking on the label that says top, perspective, front, or right. So you can double click and then maximize top view, maximize perspective view, maximize the front view, or the right view. Okay, as you see, the perspective view has a 3D image, and I'm going to show you how to move through the different planes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to use our mouse to understand how to move the different places. Okay, so on the top view, if you want to move the image, you right click on the mouse and you can move the image. If you need to move the image more, then you just scroll down and continue scrolling down, and that way you can move the image. Okay, now we can do it on the front view, on the right view, and on perspective. When we use the right click, what we're going to do is that we're going to rotate. We're going to rotate in any of the axes that we need: Z axis, Y, and X. Okay, so if we need to go back to our normal view, like all the 4 views together, then we have to double click on this icon that says 4 viewports and right click twice. Okay, if you right click twice, you're going to get all your views as they were in the first place. Now, in order to zoom in or zoom out from any of the views, you can use your scroll button, and you can zoom in or out to have a better view of the grid, or to be more precise where you want to make your picture. The same thing happens on the perspective view. You can zoom in or zoom out with your scroll button if you have a 3-button mouse, like a mouse with a scroll button. Otherwise, then you can use on the top toolbar, there are 2 options. One that says zoom dynamic, so we can click on that and we just normal click and we can zoom in or zoom out with our left click. Okay, the same thing happens on the perspective view. You can zoom in or zoom out with that option, and you can rotate. Now this rotate option, you can rotate on any of the views, like top view. You can rotate. You can also rotate the front view. Okay, but I don't recommend you to do that because we need these 3 planes to be completely perpendicular to each other. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to double click on 4 viewports again, and this is how it is. Okay, so we know how to move around our software right now. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to create a simple model of a cylinder. That way, for the project that you need to build. The spaghetti building is going to be easier for you. So we're going to make a small project, and that way you can continue doing yours and adding more stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to select box. On the left part on that toolbox, we're going to select box, and we're going to leave it pressed, and we're going to choose a cylinder. Now, before you draw anything on the grid, then you should go on the bottom part. There are some options. One of them says snap, ortho, planar, and OSNAP. Now we should have highlighted always planar, and in this case, since we want the drawings to stick to the grid, then we're going to highlight snap. So we're going to highlight snap and planar. Now I'm going to go to top view. I'm going to zoom in a little so I can see where I'm going to place my the center of the cylinder, and I'm going to click once. Then, since the drawing always sticks to the grid and I need a decimal number for this radius, I'm going to read the command line. On the top there's a command line. You should always read it so you know what is the next step in each of the projects that you're doing. So in this case, he's asking for the radius. The radius, I'm going to type in 0.1 because that's going to be the radius of a spaghetti, like 1 millimeter. Okay, and I'm going to press enter. Now, if I read the command line again, it says end of cylinder. In this case, I am going to type in 26 centimeters. That is the length of a spaghetti. Okay, so if I zoom out a little on the perspective view, I can see that I have the spaghetti ready. Okay, I have one spaghetti. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to create an array of all these spaghettis, and I can make like a box full of spaghettis. Okay, and I'm going to try to give it like the form that we need. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy and paste it a couple of times. So what I do is that I'm going to select the object. I'm going to select the object that I just created, and I can go to edit, copy, and then edit, paste. That way I have paste them all. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the same thing with these two. I'm going to copy and paste them. You can also use Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. So in this case, I'm going to have these two. Then I'm going to copy these four. I'm going to put them over here. And then I'm going to copy, I need 1, 2, 3 more. Copy these 3, and I'm going to put them here. Okay, now what I do is that I want to copy this in some other way. So I'm going to copy this line, and I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to copy these 2 lines. I'm going to paste them. Then I'm going to copy these 4 lines. And I'm going to put them over here, and then I need 3 more, and I'm going to put them there. So here I have an array of my spaghettis, and this can be a column. This can be one of the columns or one of the pillars of my project. Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create a surface around those pillars so they can stick together, because otherwise they would just fall. So how do I create a surface? What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you a new tool. So I'm going to make a circle. Okay, I'm going to make a circle that's going to be around the pillars. Okay, so they're going to be there. Okay, I drew a circle using using circle, the one on the left, and I started in the center point, and I created a circle. As you see on the perspective view, there's a circle drawn at the bottom of the pillar. Okay, Now what I'm going to do is that I am going to make a solid figure out of this circle. So I'm going to go to solid, and I'm going to choose extrude planar curve straight, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to extrude this curve. Now if I read the command line, it says select curves to extrude. In this case I'm going to choose the circle. I'm going to press enter, and I can extrude it manually, or I can type in the extrusion distance that would be on the command line. In this case I'm going to maximize the front view, and I'm going to extrude it only 1 centimeter. When I have 1 centimeter, I'm going to click. Okay? And here I have my poly surface. It is a solid that is created out of a curve. And just like a circle, you can make any other figure and just form a solid from there. Okay? So I'm going to have this. I'm going to have this poly surface. I'm going to select the poly surface. I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm going to put it on the top. There we go. So now we have like a real pillar. Now if I want to see this better, like the real 3D, then I would right click on perspective and choose one of the options that says ghosted. That way I can see how it looks. Okay, so I have a 10 by 10 spaghetti pillar. Okay, I have 100 spaghettis here, and this way I can start building my project. Okay, so you can make it, and you can make the design you want. After you finish your design, you can make it a little different, like more like modern or classic. Like you can choose any architecture style, and you can make some cool stuff.